is to make stuff worth stealing, and then be willing to give it away for free.
The perfect toss. It's a component in every show because we know it's an expected skill in all classes. While training, we usually work in second position and we'll usually have at least one toss standing in second position in the show. A strong second position requires the performer to anchor to the floor and perfectly calibrate height and rotation to deliver a catch with no adjustment in the feet or spine. In higher tosses, it's common that tracking issues cause the feet to adjust under the toss just before the catch. Some a lot, some only slightly. But some performers have a tendency to involuntarily move their feet just as a comfort impulse, whether they need it or not. As you take a look at your group with this new awareness, you'll start to notice this more. Not only in tosses, but any time they hold. During an equipment phrase, the movement judge is often focused on the body's contribution to the equipment. Movement judges notice these undisciplined steps and shifts and sometimes refer to this as unnecessary secondary movement. This is observable movement that is not intended by the choreographer. At this point, it's important to know that the WGI judging system assesses achievements. A judge is not counting off or taking away points for mistakes, but adding up points for achievements. When looking at skills, they are weighing the skill against the achievement. Here we have the same skill, but different achievements, one greater and one lesser. Let's look at some ways to accommodate performance variables while giving the impression of higher achievements. The most common way we adjust for variables in height and rotation is to add a plie to the catch. This gives the performer some flexibility to adjust at the catch. It's important to see how deliberate this is and know that the plie appears intentional. The performer sells the arrival with confidence, causing the viewer to likely miss any adjustments. The quality of the body gives the toss a sense of finality that may or may not have existed if only looking at the equipment. Here, the second position is turned into fourth with a forced arch. This is less common and less expected, creating the potential impression of more variety. It offers the same recovery opportunity as the second plie, but now adding a greater movement consideration. We continue to build on the body's contribution by changing levels with the passe and releve. The gesture leg comes down for the catch, ending in crossed fourth lunge. See how the performer adjusts the back leg as he compensates for a tracking issue. This simple addition of body increases the perceived challenge and thereby increasing the achievement, all while supplementing the finality of the catch. Tossing on the move is a forgotten skill. Exploring traveling phrases and skills that lend themselves to traveling can give you a competitive advantage. You'll find that some performers actually track tosses better on the move. Even unadorned, simple steps can increase the values of a standard toss, as well as offer opportunities to designers as they work towards motion. Adding a step into an ensemble allows for the credit of traveling as well as recovery opportunity for any tracking issues, and still offers a good finality to the catch. Here the traveling is more obvious, with the catch being supported by a hop to an arabesque. Catching in a balanced position like this increases the impression of demand at the catch, but it's actually the traveling that allows for the precise placement of the body at the arrival. This is a huge return on your investment where minimal effort in learning an added movement skill will pay double in reward. Both equipment and movement judges will be able to comment in a meaningful way about the blend of body and equipment. If your performers are comfortable walking with the toss, it's only a slight adjustment in energy and a rhythmic consideration to get you to this glissade under the toss. Adjusting the catch in small ways can pay off in big ways by not only covering vulnerabilities, but also by adding a dynamic shift to the toss event. This adjustment at the catch allows us to mask small inconsistencies at the catch itself, but also increases the dynamic range through a clear change in speed. A judge factors the dynamic range as a component of depth when assessing the total vocabulary. Here the catch slurs into a flourish with a turn, giving this a lightness and a strong sense of flow. Imagine that you would choose to let this continue into other speed-related skills. This would be a great way to actually have the toss begin a phrase instead of the typical way of finishing it. In this case, the step and rondejam add a movement component to the toss, but the lesson in this one is actually how the standard catch is slurred as the performer slows to stillness for the pose. If you can create a clean and strong arrival point after the catch, you can easily mask issues at the catch by letting the viewer focus on the later arrival as the impression of greater success. Here we take some simple steps underneath the toss, but then turn back on our direction carrying the saber to the back. This option creates an interesting feel of motion and a clear change in weight and flow as the performer suspends at the catch. Unintended movement can be a deal breaker. The key in detailing these moments is finding simple answers that allow for recovery but also increase reward. Take these options directly or let them inspire your own response. You will honor the activity through your new heightened awareness.
Creativity at its root is problem solving. Just because your choice is driven by function, you are not given license to surrender your creative response.